Hello and welcome to our online art lesson. So for today's art lesson, we are going to be reviewing something that we talk about a lot in second grade, which is pattern. In today's pattern exercise, we're going to practice our patterns on this super cute turtle. So the only things you will need for this pattern exercise is a piece of paper and something to draw with. If you would like to go in later and color it, that is completely up to you. I chose to color it in. I thought it was super cute. But of course, you do not have to if you do not want to. So, our first step for creating our turtle is we want to create a shape sort of like this. A large oval with a smaller oval on the inside. And obviously, my ovals are not perfect. That's okay. Not every turtle shell is a perfect oval. So once we have our turtle shell, we're going to create the head at the top by making a round shape just like this. And now we're going to create the side fins. So if you look at a turtle, the fins kind of go out and then down. And see how I ran out of space on my paper? That's okay. We're just going to make the fins go off the paper. So out and down, out and down. And again at the bottom. These kind of look like flower petals. They're kind of pointed at the end. And then we'll draw a little tail. And as you can see, my fins are not all the same shape. Again, not every turtle is perfectly symmetrical. This one looks a little funky, and I'll show you how to fix it just in case you get a funky fin. But don't worry if your fins are not perfectly symmetrical, meaning they're not perfectly the same. So now we're going to add our details to our head and our fins. So on the head, we're going to add our eyes by doing two sort of semicircles up near the top. These are our pupils, so we can go ahead and color those in black. And then we're going to add a few more details around the eyes. We're going to do one more semicircle and then one more around that. There we go. And now we're going to add some details to the fins. We're just going to add another line right here. See how that makes it look a little less funky? And then a little one right here. One at the bottom fin. And another at the other bottom fin. And now we're just going to add some lines that are a little curved. This gives it the illusion that it's three-dimensional. So we're adding our little curved lines to our fins, or our flippers. And now we're just going to add maybe some little dots up on the head for some texture. Maybe some little lines on the fins to give them a little bit more texture. Remember, we're focusing on pattern, but we also want to get some texture in there. And then there is all of our details for our head and our fins. Now it's time to focus on the shell. Again, I'm going to go on that rim of the shell and add a few little lines for some texture and some detail. And these lines could also be considered a pattern. So we're just getting all kinds of patterns in here. And now it's time to divide up our shell. So how I divided up the shell is I drew kind of a weird shape in the middle of the shell, sort of like this curvy diamond kind of shape. And then from there, I just made lines that went out. And there is our turtle shell. So now, in each of these little sections, I'm going to draw a different pattern. If you would like to copy the patterns that I use, you are more than welcome to do that. If you would like to make up your own patterns, you are welcome to do that as well. Making up your own patterns is actually encouraged, but if you would like to copy mine, you still can. So I'm going to fill in all of the patterns, different pattern for each space, and then we'll talk about how to finish it up. And there we go. There is our finished pattern exercise of our turtle. And now if you want to, you can go in and add a few details. You could add maybe some little bubbles coming up from the head. You could add maybe some sea animals around your turtle. You could color it in. Whatever you want to do with your turtle beyond this point is totally up to you. In my original, I used watercolor paints. Obviously, you do not have to. But remember, first we drew our shell, then we added on the head and the fins, added our details to our head and our fins, and then finished up our pattern exercise by doing different kinds of pattern in each section of the shell. So as always, make sure you send me a picture to my email. I'll put my email down below. I would love to see your finished art, and happy creating. I can't wait to see you all back in school.